Ever since I remember, we've always been very good church going. There just comes a point where you have to analyze it much further than just how you feel about it.
I told them I doubted God, I don't think He exists, and they told me it didn't matter.
Every time she would say one, I'd just be like, oh, my faith, my unfaltering faith has just lost its balance.
Here's Mom, the strongest influence religiously in my house, and here she is not being protected. She serves God faithfully. How am I ever going to make it?
I could pray all I want about it. I know I'm never getting a reply back.
Why wouldn't He answer my questions? Probably because He doesn't exist.
It hasn't been proven that there is one.
I went back to the hotel room just in my mind thinking there was something going on there that wasn't just a drug.
1 in every 6 college students said, yeah, at some time during this year I felt discrimination towards me.
There is this general idea that atheists are bad people.
I think everyone questions their faith sometime in their life, but some people just choose not to go down the path of actually figuring it out.
I thought I had a perfect life, and then I remember when my mom was driving to the supermarket with me in the car, she just breaks down and starts crying, and she tells me, your father's a drug dealer, and he's been cheating on me, and we're getting a divorce. And all of a sudden my world just turned upside down. It just like, it isn't normal anymore. I was in my house playing video games, and my mom was going to take my brother over to play basketball intramurals in the junior high, and the game gets interrupted because it was through the modem, and I pick up the phone and they basically say, you need to get down to the hospital right away, find your father and get down here because your mother and your brother were in a car accident.
She couldn't see the traffic coming in. She just saw, she just took a chance, and it was the wrong time. And a Dodge pickup truck, a full-size pickup truck, was just coming down like 60 miles per hour. We're in a little strawberry red Ford Escort. We got hit so hard that it kind of turned our little station wagon into a half-size car. It was twisted like a pretzel. It was shot on the other side of the intersection, and from what my dad tells me, that it hit the trees and then it slid 4 feet up the trees, scraping the bark off, and then came back down.
My mom was in a coma for 6 months. Jacob, my brother, was only in a coma for a week. But when all that settled down, the whole process kind of let me doubt in God, because here's Mom, the strongest influence religiously in my house, and here she is not being protected. And I was thinking, if she serves God faithfully, how am I ever going to make it? He's not going to protect me. And then it became just this idea that if God isn't there to protect us, is He really there?
Ever since I remember, we've always been very good church going. I remember all the time, also when I was maybe 5 or 6, Mom would wake me up in the morning and like, it's time to go to church. I'd be like, no, I don't want to go to church. And I'd go to church, and I really, really loved it. I remember Bible class and all that stuff, and I really, really liked it. Like, I thought Jesus was the thing back then. We went to chapel and we got to sing songs, and I was like, yes, Jesus! I was on my Jesus high, and it felt really, really good. I didn't start to question my Christianity until public high school. I was in biology class with these 2 girls. One of them, Lizzie Eklund, who we became really good friends with. And she had all these good arguments of why there isn't a God. I couldn't remember any of them anymore. But I remember every time she would say one, I'd just be like, oh, my faith, my unfaltering faith has just lost its balance. I do remember actually reading the Bible on my own senior year, because I felt like I was slipping away doing all this questioning. I'm like, no, it's gotta be true. I had this huge battle inside of my head. And so I would actually read the Bible, and then after reading it, I would get very disgusted and angry, because I'm like, this doesn't make any sense.
I found this thing on the internet. It says, hey, God answers prayers in 3 ways: yes, no, and wait. And I'm like, well, that's kind of convenient. I mean, wait and no are basically the same thing, because you're giving probability a chance of it happening over time, regardless of whether you prayed or not. And yes also falls within probability, it just happens sooner. So really, it's just how much time you're willing to wait for whatever it is you want to happen.
And I met this nice lady, this nice girl, Sophia, and she was very, very hardcore Christian, hardcore Adventist. And I thought that if anyone knew anything about Jesus, it's gonna be her. I asked her some questions, and she wouldn't have anything to back it up with, no evidence or reasoning. And I say, you should have this. And she told me that it doesn't matter what you believe in, because whatever is your reality is true to you. And I looked at her and I go, so Santa Claus? And she's like, yeah. And that was it. That was it. It was only downhill from there.
Some people have very limited systems of meaning. They haven't put a lot of effort into them. They deal with what happens moment by moment. They don't try to explain everything.
I was supposed to become an adult member of the Catholic Church, get confirmed, and they called me and they said, the bishop's coming, you have all the requirements, you can become a member. And then I told them I doubted God, I don't think he exists, and they told me it didn't matter.
Some people have very well-developed, well-thought-out systems of meaning, right? Because the process of conversion involves ongoing learning and interacting with your system of meaning, fleshing it out. So some people have put a lot of effort in. These are usually the people who put a lot of effort into their religion or their atheism or whatever it is they're doing. Not everybody does that.
I hung up the phone on the person. I didn't even finish the conversation. Hung up on them, and that was pretty much in my mind hanging up on God. If he did exist, he wasn't answering my questions, and why wouldn't he answer my questions? Probably because he doesn't exist. There was just no one to answer the questions, and therefore it just kept going deeper and deeper into the fact that there is no God, and the evidence kept mounting, and no one bothered to really take time to answer those questions.
Through high school, and by the time I finished high school, I had pretty much decided that I had come to the point where I was pretty much as unsure about anything as I probably ever was.
I really think that all Christians kind of believe like this. They have this faith-based religion, and it really just kind of helps them with their emotions and their feelings and what goes on in their heart. If it was true, it'll be placed in front of me and I'll believe it. But, don't tell me Santa Claus is real, or don't tell me that Jesus is my savior if this guy has not actually been proven to exist, and never met him, and no one I know has ever met him, even though they say they do. They talk to Jesus every day. Not me, though.